So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this breakout session with Orbcom, where they will provide more insights on how connected fleet improves predictive maintenance, cost reduction, and supports sustainability. Before I hand over the stage, I would like to introduce you and welcome our CEO of Orbcom, Mr. Helder Costa. Helder, welcome. To the participants of this session, please do feel free to ask your questions during the session in the chat box or the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen. Mr. Costa will answer these questions at the end of the session if we still have the time, but I understood that presentation will only take 10 to 12 minutes, so that should be the case. So, Mr. Costa, I will now leave you the floor. And as mentioned, I will join again 5 minutes prior to the end of the session if your presentation takes longer than the estimated time to moderate your Q&A. So I leave you, enjoy, and see you later.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, David. Hello, everyone. I prepared here a presentation, a quick one. I like to make it quick and direct. Just about Orbcom, about fleets, about the challenges in IT with fleets, and about a little bit on what we do these days. So let's start. Orbcom. Orbcom, basically, it's a company that was created in Portugal 20 years ago. We developed software for the last 20 years. And we have a fleet management solution called JAT, Just About Time Fleet Management, okay? So the agenda for this presentation would be fleet in the European markets, okay? What's happening in IT and fleet management and the main challenges. Look a bit into the increasing trends, look into what technological innovations are happening and what should be expected. A little look around to Jet Fleet with 3 screens, okay? And the conclusion on how important it's to choose the right management fleet solution and some tips on it, okay? So let's go. Some numbers, okay? Basically, these numbers show a little bit on what are the fleet management market share in Europe, okay? You can see that in 2018, you have more or less 9 million cars on fleet management solutions. And in 2024, it's expected to be 20 million cars. Honestly, on our side in IT, I would say there's a long way to go. So there's a lot more cars in Europe. There's a lot more cars in companies. Even though companies might not look into fleet management solutions so far, I think it's a long market yet to be mature in the long time. Main challenges. We're in Europe. We have some challenges. Some of them are already known. In a fleet management solution, what are the challenges? So the first challenge would be legislation and fiscal laws. What does this mean? This means that in the European Union, in each country, we have different legislation for cars. So the rules are different per country, and we have fiscal laws that are also different. So calculating the total ownership, cost of ownership of a car, and it will be different per country because each country has its VAT different, it has its taxation on the vehicle different. And the fleet management solution has to consider all this and has to be able to have all this integrated into one single solution. Nowadays, each time more and more countries are all across Europe, so you have to have this multi-country. Personal data protection. Sometimes we want to have all the data in the solution, but it's not easy. We have to follow the rules. So personal data protection, anonymization of information, considering all the workflows needed for when a person leaves the country, the company, how to anonymize the data and have all that information, okay? So personal data protection must be a thing to consider when having a fleet management solution being chosen. Vehicle electrification and CO2 reduction. Well, so far we've seen the vehicles fossil fuels, but we have electrification. Each time more we have different metrics to control. We have kilowatts, we have kilowatts per 100 kilometers, and we have to know what are we doing in CO2 reduction in a fleet, how many CO2 our fleet is spending, and how much we are reducing on year to year with the electrification, with the electric cars and hybrid cars. Okay, so this is a challenge most companies will have, and the bigger the fleet it is, the bigger the challenge. Security. Okay, all this is very cool. All these apps each time more are in the cloud, but they have to be secure. Okay, we have to have security on the data that we have, and we have to have security on the company's data. So let's look into the trends. Okay, we have trends. Vehicle electrification is a trend. What does this mean in the end? Each time more and more governments are pushing for vehicle electrification. At the same time, it's cheaper and it's more profitable to buy electric cars than diesel and gasoline cars. We have mobility, hybrid mobility and main mobility being inside the company, or being mobility with external providers, in which the person can have, for example, an electric car to go around the city, but to go further and longer, it can have car sharing with a local provider, for example, in the main cities. And we have the CO2 reduction. We have to look into the CO2 reduction, and this is a trend that is going to be here each time more and to stay. Technology innovations. Okay, what does this mean in the end? Integration of IT and telematics. What this means in a fleet management solution, each time more cars are doing upgrades over the air. You have all cars connected. You can have all the information of the cars being downloaded. Each time more, fleet management is not basically GPS tracking. It's looking into cars, looking into the IT of cars, predicting what is happening, getting with the telematics, understanding what kind of maintenance the car, predicting maintenance, automating. So integration of IT and telematics, it's a big role that is here already and will continue and will evolve. Big data. With all this IoT, basically you have more and more and more data. So with all this data, what can be done? You can have trends, okay? So fleet management software solutions with all this data can give you trends, or where to go and what should be done, and based on the type of cars, trends on maintenance and etc. And you can have also this big data predictions. So if you have a manufacturer A, fleet of electric cars or diesel or the fossil combustion engines cars, you can have basically predictions on maintenance, predictions on what should be done, and all this data allows us to give each time more concrete and more accurate predictions. Okay, and remote management. Okay, everyone has a mobile phone. You can have remote management for management of the fleet. You can have remote management for introduction of expenses, of any kind of events that you need, of approvals, of whatever. I leave you here with the three screens, okay, to have an idea of what a fleet management solution should look like and should have. Okay, this is the first screen. This is the screen of a fleet management solution from us called GAT. Just about time fleet management, and the idea it's time. It's having less time to do things. It's automating. It's being time effective. So what can you see here? Basically, just to have an overall picture, you can see the vehicles, the total cost of ownership of the fleet per company, per country, whatever. You can drill down afterwards. You can see mileage. You can see how many contracts are ending. and it can have some big numbers to start, okay? So a fleet management solution should give you this and much more reporting on it. Looking into the left side, you can see what you can do with a fleet management solution. You can have events, you can have different kinds of approvals, maintenance approvals, you can have requests, okay? You can have fleet with automatic import of fleet from the diesel provider or electric provider. You can have automated also import of tools, okay? And you can see and create alert plans that can be automated to alert the user, to alert you, so the user can, for example, schedule automatically without the fleet management person or team involvement to schedule a maintenance because it's the right time, and the fleet management solution gives you several time frames to schedule the maintenance to the user of the vehicle. And you can have indicators, okay, to show, okay? This is an idea. The second one, if you look into a vehicle, a fleet management solution should give you all this, should give you info on the vehicle, when the next inspection is, the maintenance period. It should give you all the contract data, insurance. It should basically make a digital transformation of all the processes that are in paper or less automated and transform them into the company so that everything is automated and everything is done digitally. So all of this, it's a fleet management solution. Sorry, we've seen before, and we've talked about mobile. What we see on mobile, we see here that the fleet management, this is just an example on what a fleet manager can do on a mobile. Can look into requests that the user has. For example, a user might have a request to change car. You can look into approvals, okay? You can approve on the way to go without needing to be in front of your computer. And this is basically to show you a picture on a fleet management view. If you look on a user view, each time more, everyone has a mobile phone, so the user can place an expense automatically. He can take a photo of an unexpected expense that might exist and request approval or giving you notice of what has been done and considering the cost immediately, okay? So the mobile part, it's very important, and it's a thing that will take a lot of time reduction, okay? And will automate a lot the process of managing a fleet. Technological innovations. When you think about fleet management solutions, you always think about GPS fleet management, but this is not entirely true. Each time more and more companies don't want just GPS or simply don't want GPS. There's a lot of them that simply don't want solutions that give you the GPS of people because of GDPR concerns. But events fleet tracking. What is events fleet tracking? What's this? What is this? Events fleet tracking, it's basically getting the events of the vehicle, understanding when the vehicle needs to go to maintenance, understanding when the vehicle has some problem and predicting that problem or looking into that problem and making automated maintenance on it. So, for example, if a vehicle needs to have tires or to have brakes, you can change brakes, but if you don't do the maintenance in time, besides brakes, you will also change discs. So the cost will go to 3 or 4 times higher. So this is what an event fleet tracking is. It's basically taking in IoT and sensors, getting all that into a fleet management platform, getting all this information from the sensors that exist in a vehicle, and getting it all into the fleet management and giving you the possibility to automate depending on what those sensors do. So what are the benefits? Basically, it's real-time updates. With this, you can You can in real time see what you're doing, what's happening with your users, what's happening with all your cars in your fleet. You can do predictive maintenance. Okay, so if you have a fleet that will automatically gives you the maps, even without being GPS car tracking, but gives you automatically the miles, you can predict maintenance. You can schedule automatically the change of the maintenance, of changing oil and whatever. And you can also automate all of this with, for example, an email going to the user with time frames for the maintenance for the user to choose and to be automatically scheduled. Okay. You can automate fleets with also changing cars, whatever you need. And with all of this, you will reduce costs. Okay, the overall idea is to reduce costs, reduce time, and make life easier for everyone. So, tips for choosing the right management solution. What can we say about this? Let's start by centralized data. Okay, nowadays, in the old days, you have fleet management solutions that you have to place on a server, and you can have the IT team looking into it and doing maintenance, etc. Nowadays, everything is cloud, so it's easier to centralize all this data. It's easier to control. It's easier to control the big data in this. Okay, you can have adjustable fleet size as another way to choose the right management solution. So today you have, for example, 100 cars or 200, but tomorrow we can have 150 or 250. So adjustability and the way it is considering the contract, it's a thing to consider. Good workflow processes. What does this mean? It means that you have to have a solution that automates all of the processes and has the processes predefined, so it's easier for you to use it and don't have to invent the wheel again. Automation to improve efficiency. If the fleet management solution has all these automations in place, basically it will take time off of you. Okay. Powerful reporting. Having all the information in the point of your hand or your fingers, having it any time you need, whenever you need, and the way you need it. Okay. And lately, but not least, provider stability. There's a lot of fleet management solutions that have appeared in the market, a lot that also have disappeared. Get a provider that is stable, get a company that has a stable tracking in the market. It's also a thing to consider. Looking into this, I would like to thank you for the time, okay? I would like also to thank for the possibility to present our idea of what the fleet management solution is in IT, to present a little bit on what we've done, okay? And I leave you here with my contacts in case you need anything. Just send me an email, look into our website, anything you need, any demonstration, any information, we're around, just give us a contact and we're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder. Thank you. Very interesting presentation. I think it's nice for a lot of the community members to also get to know more about Orbcom. We still have 1 or 2 more minutes, and we have an anonymous question in the Q&A part, which I would still like to raise. So the question was if your solution offers a role-based permission. Maybe you can answer that if you didn't already do that during your presentation.
Okay, it gives you a role-based permission. It can be defined, okay, but there's existing roles already predefined. So you can have roles for fleet management. You can have different roles for people that are in the fleet management team. So one can look, for example, to approvals, other can look for maintenance, other can look for both. You can have different roles. Besides that, you have roles for people. You have roles for people, for example, with electric cars. You can have roles for people with internal combustion engine roles. You can have all type of permissions and adjustability. We have predefined roles for it to be easier to set up and to go live quickly, but you can have predefined roles that can be changed, okay?
Okay, well, very clear. Thank you for answering that question for one of the participants. Well, then, Helder, we have come at the end of this session. Thank you for your presentation, for your contribution and your support, of course. So I think that participants will find their way to contact you if they still have some questions. And I would like to invite everybody as well to participate at the Executive Technology Panel as of 6:10 on the main stage. And in the meanwhile, feel free to network in the networking part. And Helder, again, thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the conference and hope to see you soon in real life in Portugal, second half of the year.
Thank you,
all the best,
everyone.
Helder. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, Helder, we still have one question here from Stephen. So if you are still there, let's tackle it. We have 1 more minute. So Stephen probably got a question. Fleet managers ask for compatibility when it comes to reporting. How do you see the evolution of fleet management reporting compatibility from different systems, different suppliers? So maybe you can still answer that.
That's easy to answer. Basically, fleet management solutions, each one has its own dashboards and reporting. The easier way to answer it is go through Excel. We've done it a little bit different. We've had integrations with the main suppliers of reporting, from Microsoft Office 365 reporting to others, so we can adapt between different systems. If they have a way to export information on Excel, it's easier to do all that reporting. If not, it makes a little bit difficult. But Stephen, I can afterwards continue this conversation with you if you want.
Very good, thank you. Well, thank you for then answering still that last question from Stephen. So I wish you a nice afternoon, Helder. I hope you will enjoy the rest of the conference. And as I mentioned, hopefully we will see each other in live later this year. Thank you, Helder. See you later.
Thank you.